So you're thinking about selling NFTs, but maybe you're thinking, is it too late? Or how do I even get started? Hey, it's Hayley from Motion Hatch here, where we help you to grow your motion design career and build a successful business. So we wanted to ask some motion designers and NFT artists how they became successful with NFTs and how you can too. We're also thinking about making an NFT series on this channel. So if you would like us to do that and you've got questions about NFTs, do pop them below in the comments. What first got you into NFTs?
So I was a full-time on-staff motion designer for a while, and then I had the urge that everyone has to go freelance motion designer. So I was building up a YouTube channel for a while. It was a year or two, and I was doing motion design tutorials and I was doing courses. And then a couple months into that, I basically discovered NFTs. That kind of really blew up. It was like an emerging of my two passions, really, of art and crypto in this kind of new way that I didn't know existed. And so I just really dove headfirst into that.
I assume you know Motion by Nick. He's another YouTuber. He started posting like selling my digital art and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, how? Like, explain this to me. I was seeing this in January of 2021. And I felt like it was this weird thing that I was trying to learn about, but there was very little information on it at the time. And so I just started diving into it like full force. And basically I had a friend where he had posted and I was like, how did you get your work on this platform? Like, I don't understand this. And he's like, oh, it's invite. Like you have to get an invite to it. And I was like, oh, so could I get an invite? And he's like, yeah, like absolutely. He's like, I'm going to be making my first sale and I should be getting invites then. And as soon as that happened, I didn't even care about client work at that point. I just was like, I want to dive into this because the idea of selling my digital art was never possible before. And yeah, one thing leads to another. And now I completely quit client work and now I'm just focusing on NFTs, which is so different from my vision board of 2021.
So I started in March of last year because when COVID hit, I immediately just started looking at things like secondary income and stuff like that. I've had my iPad for a while and I was using Procreate quite a lot for personal work. And then suddenly this thing came along where I could essentially sell JPEGs, which was quite fascinating to me because I haven't really done any physical artwork for a long time. And I've tried selling a few bits and pieces on Redbubble and all those other print-on-demand websites. So then when I discovered sort of NFTs, it was I'm just going to dive straight into this and see what happens because I had a little bit of knowledge of cryptocurrencies before that, but not very much. So I had to do a bit of a deep dive into the differences between Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that sort of stuff.
Do you think that it's too late to get involved with NFTs?
No. We're all still like, this is so new. Like, there's so much stuff coming up. Like, I feel like the next big thing in the NFT space is going to be popping up and it's constantly going to feel like, oh, well, now it's too late. Oh, well, now it's too late. And it's just like, one thing I would say is if anyone's planning to get into the NFT space, I would spend months in the space before actually selling your first piece. Make tons of art, put all that art out there. But selling that first piece, I feel like is only going to make sense if you are actually invested in the community. Obviously, Twitter is definitely like the headquarters of it, just because it seems more of like you could just talk to people very quickly, rather than Instagram where you either comment and it's kind of hidden, or you have to DM, and Twitter just seems more like open to everyone.
It can be really overwhelming, and it's really like, it can be really draining, and it's like you always feel like you're too late, and you always feel like you're the earliest at the same time. I think if you really are looking at what you're doing and you have looked at the landscape of things and you are genuinely trying to something new, and you kind of have a good understanding, or at least you think you do, of what is out there, and you are putting a new spin on things, I think that you'll be all right. You probably will not have a good time if you are looking at what's popular and you are just trying to replicate it. You will probably get snuffed out by the crowd.
Maybe people are late for the rush if they weren't involved already, but that doesn't mean there isn't still huge potential to make a living from your own personal artwork. It's probably not as accessible as it should be, but I think long term, we're going to get more and more tools and advice and platforms that allow for people to just jump in straight away.
What was the first NFT that you sold?
So my first NFT was called Headspace. I think I spent like 2 days on the project just because I was working on client stuff. So every time I've worked on a passion project, I've only had a few days to work on it. And then I got to get back to work. And so I put it up and it sold for 2 ETH, which was insane to me. I think at the time it was like 2,900 in total. That's how much the 2 ETH was. And it was bought by Jasty, who is a 15-year-old illustrator and collector and creator. And he bought my piece and I was like, this is insane. My digital art piece just sold for $3,000 and was bought by a 15-year-old. Like, explain that. That sounds like a dream.
Do you think it's possible to fill in the gaps of client work, really, is what I think is kind of a fascinating concept?
At some points, it's definitely become my primary income for like a month or two, a few months at a time. And if I've finished all my project work, normally I would go, right, I need more work in. Obviously, I need to go and find more clients. Whereas in the last year, it's been, I might just do some art and spend the whole day on Twitter and Discord. I'm earning enough through it that I think I can keep going, even on a part-time basis. So that's good.
Just to be like 100% transparent, I spent a total of 30 days in 2021 on NFTs, and the rest of the time I spent on client work. And I made just as much doing that 30 days of work as I did for an entire year. And I'm working with like the biggest record labels in the world. And so that's my dream job and I'm doing it, but I'm getting paid doing something I love doing more, which is just passion projects. Like I had accepted the fact that I can only do passion projects every now and then because those don't pay the bills, but now they do pay the bills. And I want to do that more often.
Comment below this video if you have questions about NFTs. And if you want to get more videos just like this one, make sure you hit subscribe and that notification bell. If you want to go freelance or you want to get your next client in just 5 days, we have got a free course for you. So check out the link below this video in the description.